Okay, let's talk about 2025. What a year. This was the year Ripple went from being stuck in the courtroom to dominating the boardroom. From a company under siege to an absolute financial powerhouse. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how they pulled off this incredible transformation. This one quote from Ripple's own year-end review, it just says it all. From legal clarity to institutional dominance. It's basically a two-act play, and we're about to walk through both of those acts right now. So, first, you gotta understand that for years, Ripple was basically trapped inside a regulatory cage. That huge SEC lawsuit, it wasn't just a headache, it was a ball and chain, seriously holding them back from their biggest ambitions. And then came August 2025. That was the moment. The moment the cage door just swung wide open. The court's final ruling came down. And with it, Ripple finally got the legal clarity, that green light it so desperately needed to really go on the offensive. And get this, the SEC came in asking for $2 billion, a staggering amount. Ripple walked away with a final penalty of just $125 million. I mean, come on, that's not just a win, that's an absolute knockout. But this victory was never just about the money. It was about building what you could call a regulatory moat. Think about it, a powerful strategic advantage that gave them a crystal clear runway to go after the US market, leaving a lot of their competitors stuck in regulatory limbo. So, with the legal war won, Ripple didn't just, pop the champagne and take a vacation. Nope, they opened up the war chest. And this is where the story pivots hard, from playing defense to playing offense, to total domination. $4 billion. Just let that sink in. That's the number that really defined Ripple's entire post-lawsuit strategy. They weren't just showing up to compete anymore. They were here to buy the whole neighborhood. So how on earth do you spend $4 billion? Well, you don't just buy random companies. You strategically assemble an arsenal. First up, you see Ripple Prime for over $1 billion. That's their engine for institutional-grade trading. Next, they dropped another $1 billion on G-Treasury. Now, suddenly, they're inside the systems that corporate treasurers use every single day. And finally, Rail, the missing piece that connects all this new crypto infrastructure to the old-school banking world. See, this isn't just a shopping list, it's a masterclass in vertical integration. They're building a system where they own every single step of a financial transaction. That massive shopping spree was really just the beginning. With that newfound legal freedom, they were finally ready to unleash a whole wave of brand new products that had been waiting in the wings. And first out of the gate was their stablecoin RLUSD. Look at this chart. It went from basically zero to a $1 billion market cap in a single year. This wasn't just another stablecoin. This was the foundational layer for their new payments empire. And this is where it all starts to feel really real. This is where the rubber meets the road. We're not talking about speculation anymore. We're talking about real-world utility. Their custody business started signing up major banks. RLUSD was making cross-border payments faster and cheaper. They were even tokenizing real-world assets. The game had completely changed. And then, the moment everyone had been waiting for, the ETF. With all those legal clouds gone, Wall Street finally rolled out the red carpet for XRP. This was the breakthrough that opened the floodgates for mainstream institutional investment. And the demand was just insane. Over $1 billion poured into these new ETFs in just the first 6 weeks. This wasn't just hype or retail excitement. This was a massive vote of confidence from the biggest players on Wall Street. But here's the thing. Ripple's ambitions were never just limited to the US. They were on a mission for global conquest, using that legal victory at home as a springboard to get regulatory approval in key financial centers all over the world. And they were just unstoppable. They nailed down a huge, coveted license in the UK. They got a full financial services license in the UAE. And these aren't just pieces of paper to frame on the wall. These are the keys to unlocking massive global markets. So, let's just step back and look at the whole picture. What do you get when you combine a landmark legal victory, a $4 billion shopping spree, a wave of killer new products, and a global expansion strategy firing on all cylinders? You get a company that completely reinvented itself in just 365 days. Yep, in 2025, Ripple completely shed its old crypto startup skin. It emerged as a full-fledged financial titan, ready and able to take on the old guard of the financial world. So the big question for 2026 is no longer, can Ripple survive? The real question is, can the legacy financial system survive Ripple?